Hey guys, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Encourager Yeti. I speak about motivation, encouragement, travel plans, family in the area of relationship and marriage, and I also share benefits of gospel music. You're welcome to this channel. If this is your first time discovering this channel, you are highly welcome. Please do well by hitting on that subscribe button so that you get notification anytime I upload new videos here. Thank you so much. I want to share with us important information about skilled work visa. What is it about skilled work visa? I believe that some of us are already familiar with the word skilled work visa. What does it mean, or what does it take, to switch to a skilled work visa? I want to take us through the process of what the eligibility is, how to apply, and at which stage we are supposed to apply, from which visa are you supposed to switch, to a skilled worker visa. So today we are going to be discussing on this. I would like to encourage us, to please sit back and watch this video till the end because I'll be showing us something. It's a surprise. So guys, let's go right into our today's discussion. Is before we go right into it, I'm going to be reading out, some of these things because I actually jotted out some of them as I don't want to, I don't want to skip out the important information so that we can all get it right together. A skilled worker visa allows you to come to or stay in the UK to do an eligible job with an approved employer. The visa has replaced the Tier 2 general work visa. It also allows you to work in UK waters. So what do we mean, by the word skilled worker visa? As its name implies, it's a work visa, that allows you to work for a particular employer, for a certain number of years. As we proceed in the discussion, we are going to be getting all the detailed information, about the skilled worker visa. So let's move on, guys. So we are moving on to the eligibility. What are the things that requires you to or maybe that qualifies you, to be eligible for this type of visa. To qualify for a skilled worker visa, you must work for a UK employer that has been approved by the Home Office. So what do they mean by this? It means that before you can work for any employer, you have to ensure that such employer has been approved by the Home Office. So this is the first thing to note. Secondly, you also must have a certificate of sponsorship from your employer with the information about the role you have been offered in the UK. So what do we mean by this? There's something they usually call it COS, which is the certificate of sponsorship. You also need to get this COS, from your employer that you intend to work with. For you to move on, with your visa, you will need to prove, that you have a COS, because in the COS, it will state the particular role that you have applied for, that the employer is going to be giving you, all these things is going to be stated in the COS. So these are the things that the Home Office wants to see, anytime you are applying for your visa. So third on the list is do a job that is on the list of eligible occupations. So before you can qualify, to before you are eligible, to apply for a skilled worker visa, that means the type of the job that you want to do must be under the list, the eligible occupation list. So these are the things that we need to take notes. Then the fourth thing is you must be paid a minimum salary, and how much depends on the type of work you do. And the specific eligibility depends on your job. So let's move on to knowledge of English. Some of us might be thinking maybe Is it only, or maybe some questions might be running through our mind. Okay, aside from student visa, aside from skilled worker visa, are these the only two visa, that one can be eligible for? No, the answer is no, because there are various routes, by which you can, apply for visa. So it depends on whatever you are qualified for. Talking about knowledge of English, you must be able to speak, to read, to write, and understand English. Then you usually need to prove your knowledge of English when you apply. And if you are not eligible for a skilled worker visa, you may be eligible for another type of visa to work in the UK. So these are the things that we also need to take note. So how long can you stay? So this is what I meant by the duration. Your visa can last for up to 5 years before you need to extend it. And you will need to apply to extend or update your visa when it expires, or if you change jobs or employer. And if you want to stay, longer in the UK, what can you do as well? Probably you already through, with the skilled worker visa, and you wish, to stay longer in the UK. So what can you do? Now, here is what you can do. You can apply to extend your visa as many times as you like, as long as you still meet the eligibility requirements. And after 5 years, guys, let's take note, you may be able to apply to settle permanently in the UK, also known as indefinite leave to remain. So which many of us might have been hearing, ILR, indefinite leave to remain. And this gives you the right to live, to work, and study in the UK for as long as you like, and you apply for benefits if you are eligible. So what does this mean, guys? After you are done, with your employer for 5 years, and you wish, to extend your stay in the UK, then it means that you are eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain, which is the ILR. And through this visa, you can always do, you can always work, you can always study, and you can also stay, for as long as you like. So how do you apply? You must apply online, before you can apply, before you can do anything, everything based on any application on skilled worker visa is basically online. So you must apply online. And how do you apply? How you apply depends on whether you are outside the UK. Yes, I know that some of us will be looking at it that, okay, does it mean that people outside the UK can also apply? Yes, the answer is yes. People outside the UK can apply, as well as people inside the UK. Now, I'm going to explain better. Now, they said how you apply depends on whether you are applying from outside the UK and coming into the UK. Secondly, whether you are applying inside the UK and extending your current visa. Then the third one states that whether you are applying inside the UK and switching from a different visa. So now let me explain these three things one after the other. Now, what does it mean when you're applying outside the UK? Of course, it's possible to get a job from outside the UK, and that is if the job, the criteria that I made mention of, the eligibility. If you are able to meet up with the eligibility, then if you can secure a job offer while you are outside the UK, fine, it's possible. And you ensure that, okay, the employer that is offering you a job, they already registered with the Home Office, and they can also give a certificate of sponsorship. So if all these things are guaranteed, why not? You can always apply from outside the UK. Now, applying from inside the UK and extending your current visa. So what does this mean? If you have a student visa, your duration of study is moving to an end. Maybe you have just few months to go and all that. So Through this, you can always extend your visa by applying for a job from an employer that gives a certificate of sponsorship. So these are the things that they meant by, when you are applying from inside the UK and outside the UK. And also, if you're applying from the third one says, if you're applying from inside the UK and switching from a different visa. So what does this mean? Maybe you already have, it's possible maybe you already have a student visa. And of course, like I explained the other time, as it was before, if you have a student visa, it's easy for you before you conclude your studies. It's easy for you to switch if you are able to get a work visa. But now, because of the new rule from the Home Office, which states that, as a student, you will need to conclude your studies before you can switch to another visa. So what does the third one means? The third one actually means that if you are inside the UK and you are switching from a different visa, so you could switch from a student visa, or probably maybe you have a COS from one employer and you wish to also switch, from that same employer to another employer. So the switching, is in different ways. So I believe that we all have a better understanding on this. And let's move on. The next one says, if you want to change your job or employer, you must apply to update your visa. So this was the point that I made mention not quite long. If you want to change your job or employer, maybe you already have maybe a COS already with an employer and you wish to change, then it means that you will need to update it. And how do you update it? By switching from one visa to the other. Then they made mention that your partner and children can also apply to join you or stay in the UK as your dependents if they are eligible. So if you're applying from outside the UK, your partner and your children, they can also apply alongside with you, such that they will be your dependents. Or if you are inside the UK, same thing is applicable. How long does it take? You can apply for a visa up to 3 months before the day you are due to start work in the UK. And this date is listed on your certificate of sponsorship. And as part of your application, you will need to prove your identity and provide your documents. So these are the things that are required. And you may also need to allow extra time if you need an appointment to do this. You will find out if you need one when you start your application. Now let's move on to getting a decision. If you have applied and you are waiting, for a decision, once you have applied online and you have proved your identity and provided your documents, you usually get a decision on your visa within 3 weeks if you are outside the UK. Guys, let's take note. If you are outside the UK, you could get your decision, within 3 weeks. Yes, and if it is inside the UK, it's 8 weeks. So that's the number of weeks, that it will take, for the processing time. Then also you may be able to pay to get a faster decision. And how you do this depends on whether you are outside the UK or whether you are inside the UK. How much does it cost? You or your partner or children will need to pay the application fee, pay the health care surcharge for each year of your stay, and prove that you have enough personal savings. So all these things are required. And also there's a link whereby you can check how much money you need. I'll be dropping this link, of course, in the description box so that you can go through it and see how much, depending on, family, maybe family of two, family of three, you could see how much it's going to cost you. Now let's move on. It says if you work in public sector healthcare. Now if you're a doctor or a nurse, or you work in health or adult social care, check if you are eligible to apply for the health and care worker visa. I'm going to be dropping this link as well. Instead, it is cheaper to apply for it and you do not need to pay the annual immigration health surcharge. So this link is going to be helpful, for anyone who is in the health sector. You can check this link and see, so that whenever you are applying, it's going to be cheaper for you, to apply, because they are going to waive, the IHS for you. So you will not be paying for the IHS, being the fact that you are working in an health sector. What you can and cannot do. With a skilled worker visa, you can work in an eligible job. You can study. You can also bring your partner and children with you as your dependents if they are eligible. And you can also take an additional work in certain circumstances. And also you can do a voluntary work. You can also travel abroad and return to the UK. And you can also apply to settle permanently in the UK, known as indefinite leave to remain, which is the ILR. And if you have lived in the UK for 5 years and meet the other eligibility requirements. Now let's go to what you cannot. All those things that I mentioned earlier, you can, being a skilled worker. Now let's see the things that you cannot do, as a skilled worker. So number one is you cannot apply for most benefits, in brackets, which is public funds or state pension. So, let me repeat that line again. You cannot apply for most benefits, in brackets, public funds or the state pension. Then secondly, you cannot change jobs or employer unless you apply to update your visa. So you cannot just, come up with something and say you want to, change your job. You cannot just do that, except if you are ready, to update your visa. If you are ready to apply to update your visa. Now, and lastly, if your application is successful, you will get a full list of what you can and cannot do with a skilled worker visa. So yeah, that is that for the skilled worker visa. And quickly, let's go into the surprise, for today. Being a student before, yes, I'm happy and I'm glad, to share with us that I have successfully, switched from a student's visa into, a skilled worker. My husband actually got a certificate of sponsorship, in a place of work. So, and that makes us to switch, and me coming to be a dependent on him. So guys, here is the good news. 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 And here is my former BRP card. So there's a BRP card, which is the biometric residence permit, that is going to be issued, to anyone. That is always issued to anyone in the UK, because if you are coming in maybe as a student or you want to change visa, you have to have the BRP card, and the BRP card allows you to stay in the UK. And not only that, it also allows you, to work. It gives you a right to work in the UK. The most important thing is, it's a right for you to stay. You have a stay in the UK. So guys, I'm happy to inform us that, changing from student visa, into a dependent visa. Yeah. So we're going to be doing another unboxing together. Yeah. For many of us that not seen my recent video, which I dropped about unboxing my international passport, I would like us to please see that video. So let's do this together, guys. I'm going to be opening it, and I'm going to be, I'm going to be bringing out my new BRP card. So guys, let's do this together once again. So guys, switching from student visa into a dependent visa. What is written here is students leave to enter, and the new one now states dependent partner leave to remain. So guys, I'm happy. On this note, I would like to say thank you guys, for watching this video till this very moment. If you have not yet subscribed, I would like to encourage you to please click on that subscribe button, and don't forget to give this video a like. Feel free to share this video. I would also appreciate your comments, your questions in particular. If you have any questions, please do well by using the comment section. Drop your questions, and I'll be glad to answer every bit of the questions that is being dropped. And thank you guys, and see you guys in the next one. Bye.